Highway 75. Let's take this to the north. We'll draw a storm projection with this and that hail, which is likely up to maybe 1.5 inch size. Ping pong ball, maybe a little bit bigger. This is moving to the north-northeast between 55 and 60 miles per hour, which takes that hail core toward Bixby at about 350. Jinx 353. We're talking Glenpool right now. ORU 355. Woodland Hills Mall at 71st and Memorial at 358. Now, if you're in Tulsa, you've got time to try to get your car in a garage under a carport because hail is the biggest issue. Do not park under an overpass. Please don't park under an overpass. That slows down any emergency vehicles that may be on the way to a medical emergency or fire. But you can see the track here of the largest hail may end up taking it up toward Owasso by 413. Let me at least take a look, give you kind of an idea of what the computer estimates some of that largest hail would be right in the Glenpool area. And it looks like close to between ping pong ball size and golf ball size. So this is a significant hailstorm moving up into the metro area. A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for this severe thunderstorm that has developed quickly. That's over Lake Keystone. That's going to go up toward the Skiatook area. We'll talk more about that one in just a bit. But again, we'll check hail on it, and we're already starting to get some hail appearing on that. Now, let's go back down to our south storm, and I'm going to zoom in right now and show you where's some of that heavy rain already falling. As you can see, it's creeping up over Bixby, Woodland Hills Mall, Jinx, the entire Creek Turnpike just wet right now with that main hail core loaded up along Highway 75 right along the Creek and Tulsa County line, moving up into Glenpool right now and continuing to move to the northeast. I want to check in or at least get a shot from RIM 6, and that's Joseph Tyree, one of our storm trackers. He is on Highway 75 as this continues to move up right into the metro area. He's not getting into the hail yet. Let's check in with Joseph Tyree. I think he's on the line. Joseph, where are you? I can tell you right where you're at right now. You're coming up on Highway 67 on Highway 75. Have you seen any hail yet?
The largest I've seen was probably about nickel size. I believe the heaviest hail is just to my north, though. I will say the cloud ground lightning has been insane, just nonstop close strikes. So definitely get inside, get away from anything that you could get struck by lightning. I am getting some 30 to 40 mile an hour wind gusts and really heavy rain, but so far the hail hasn't been quite the severe criteria where I'm at.
Joseph, as you can continue north on 75, we've had reports that some people are already stopped under the Creek Turnpike overpass on Highway 75. Again, please do not do that. There are a lot better shelters than that. There is no sign of rotation with this storm, but it is continuing to put down incredible amounts of hail with it. Let's jump back over to FOX23 Doppler radar as we continue to watch this lift to the north. Again, we'll point the hail out here. This is an algorithm with the radar crossing the Arkansas River, already moving out of Glenpool right up toward the heart of South Tulsa. Let me go over to our camera in Jinx. Now, earlier this was just completely engulfed in torrential rains right now. I'm going to pan this over right across the billboard that it's sitting on and over the Creek Turnpike Bridge, and you can see just nearly zero visibility. There's some of the lightning Joseph was talking about. Another report of quarter-sized hail in Jinx, so right where this camera is, and that's continuing to lift up into South Tulsa right now. This is hail and some gusty wind at the primary threat. I want to stress, we're not seeing any sustained or organized rotation or immediate concern for tornadoes with this storm. We have no tornado warnings in effect in our coverage area right now, but we are watching this hail move across the metro area, some of it on the big side. Now, our team coverage continues with FOX23 certified meteorologist Mike Grogan. Mike?
Yeah, and if you are under the warning, like all of the Tulsa metro area, if you're ahead of the storm, you can secure outdoor objects, anything that could be blown about or might be damaged by hail. But these storms are racing, so if you're hearing thunder, go ahead and move inside. That's your prompt to get into a sturdier shelter, to move away from windows and doors. And of course, we're going to continue to stream here on air and on the FOX23 weather app. We'll let you know when the threat is passing past your location. This is a cluster of storms with severe weather going all the way from near Skiatook clear down to south of I-40. We've had a couple storms that have had tornado signatures, even a confirmed tornado in Hughes County. That circulation has weakened, so that's less of a concern at this moment, but the environment is very capable of supporting additional tornado formation. Thankfully, the cell lifting into Tulsa, not really in a position to do that at this time. We'll, of course, be watching that closely, but it has broken away from the supercell that is more prone to producing tornadic circulations. There is the cell right there that we're watching as well. This would be just to the west of Eufaula, near the Indian Nations Turnpike, where the heaviest of the rain and storm activity will be falling. But the storm of greatest concern for at least the Tulsa area, the hail signature, granted, this is a little bit of a dated product, maybe by 5-7 minutes or so, but just be aware it's still picking up on some pretty intense hail on at least the areas around Jinx, maybe even over to Sapulpa right now. We can go a little closer in and just show you that right now this is still showing up with the largest potential hail, PSO Jinx, but I would translate this a good 5 or 7 miles north just to show you where that likely hail is ongoing. So Tulsa Hills to ORU, probably all the way over to Yale and Harvard is where you'd find some of the hail occurring that could be up to that severe size, which is the size of a quarter. This is going to continue to race north at a very rapid clip. We also have another severe storm now north of Sand Springs, moving northeast at 50 miles per hour. That will put it near Skiatook and eventually on the way up towards western portions of Rogers County. As I take a look at that right here, we'll put a little storm track on this cell. It is not producing the same size of hail this storm has likely produced, but it's still one that bears watching, and it still has the potential for some hail and gusty winds going out from the storm track right here, taking it northeast. It will take it near Sperry at 407, the Skiatook area by 410, Collinsville by 417, and Ramona perhaps as early as 423. So that's when the largest or the heaviest part of the storm will likely be passing over you. That warning will take us until 4:30 this afternoon. So that is a look at the hail threat. These storms that are moving in are incredibly electric. Joseph mentioned all the cloud to ground lightning. You can't even see the storm because of all the lightning strikes here. So another reason to be moving inside and away from windows and that sort of thing as these storms go on by. All these storms are going to be incredibly electric. We've got more rounds of storms on the way. With time, you can even see in the Tulsa area how much lightning is now occurring. So this is a very loud storm. Torrential rainfall. It could lead to some brief flash flooding on some of the roadways, especially in the flood-prone areas. Keep that in mind as a lot of folks are getting ready to get on the road for that afternoon drive. James is keeping a close eye on this particular storm moving in. We'll send it back over to him.
Yeah, as we look right into the metro area, especially South Metro, you can see the heavy rain has lifted up to the north, almost up to 51st Street. These little speckles of pink are indicative of hail. And in fact, we can go to that hail size algorithm. Again, this is still moving to the northeast pretty quickly, but it's actually a little bit further along than what we're seeing here. We can do a track on this and kind of show you the leading edge of this hail. And it's kind of moving to the northeast, and it's going to take it about 15 minutes at 55 miles per hour to make it up over Woodland Hills Mall here in the next few minutes. Memorial High School as well. Promenade Mall area by 401. East Tulsa, FOX23 Studios at 403. Hale High School and East Central High School just after 4 o'clock. Tiger Community just to the northwest of Catoosa and the Catoosa Casino area by about 4:10. So this storm is moving very quickly right now. Let's go back to reflectivity. First, we'll show you velocity because, again, we're not seeing any sign at all of organized rotation with it. We do have just a lot of strong wind with it. In fact, as we go to base velocity right now, I'm looking in South Tulsa, probably 40 to 50 mile per hour winds out of this now. We'll go back to our camera. This is on 169 at 71st. You can certainly see a lot of that wind-blown rain, and yeah, you can certainly see how slow traffic is now moving on 169 right now too, with that hail likely just to the west of where this camera is at 71st and 169. Let's go back to radar, and again, we'll put that hail product on here because our camera is located right here looking south on 169. Let's go to the hail product, and again, this is going to be lifting just along right across South Tulsa now between the Arkansas River and 169, heading to the north-northeast. And as it gets over closer to FOX23, we may have a chance to run out and get a hailstone or two as this lifts to the northeast. But again, want to stress, hail is the primary threat from this storm. I'm not seeing at all any indications of sustained rotation with it either as it lifts up to the north, but certainly seeing a lot more speckles here of pink, and that's indicating hail reaching the ground, crossing I-44, 41st Street. This thing is racing quickly to the northeast. Let's check in again with Joseph Tyree. And Joseph, where are you and what are you seeing right now?
Yes, I am about a mile north of the Creek Turnpike in 75. Probably getting into the biggest hail I've seen all day. Some of this may be up to approaching quarter size. Traffic is slowed down significantly. Back there were a lot of cars pulled over going southbound. So I imagine the heaviest hail, the biggest hail is probably just about a mile or two north of me.
Joseph, thank you very much for that. Again, on Highway 75 and traffic moving very slowly. Let's jump back to radar right now with some of that hail moving into FOX23. Goodness, yeah, you can hear on the roof here at FOX23. Kind of wish we had a microphone. This is the camera outside. You can see wind blowing sheets of rain and hail. Keep zooming in. Actually, you know what? I'm going to move this camera over just a little bit. Let's see if we can see hail on this platform. Yeah, you can certainly see hail pinging off that platform. And let's see. Again, as we look kind of closely right in here, we can certainly hear the bass thump. Ping pong ball sized hail, so that's just a little bit bigger than quarter, so about 1.25 inch hail, but occasionally you can see one bouncing off that rail up here on our camera. But we've had certainly some large hail move over most of Tulsa right now, and that's where we're looking at in East Tulsa. You can still see those sheets of rain and hail going by, and again, motorists continue out on Memorial Drive. The pink and purple, that's indication of that hail actually reaching the ground. These storms have also been incredibly prolific lightning producers as well. So again, yeah, just checking in at the National Weather Service. They've had some power bumps too. There is a lot of lightning with this, and meteorologist Mike Grogan is checking on the power outages right now. He'll have an update for you in just a bit. But again, we'll look at our hail size, and again, this is lagging a little where the hail is because it takes an entire volume scan of the radar to compute exactly where we're seeing that hail. But according to the computer estimation, some of that peak hail, 1.6 inch hail, so almost golf ball size. We'll go back to reflectivity right now as the hail continues to fall at FOX23 up to ping pong ball size, a lot of quarter-sized hail. That is enough to do some damage. The severe thunderstorm warning does continue. I want to expand the view just a bit and get you caught up, and first with a track of this storm as it continues lifting to the north. We'll zero in just on the hail core, take it to the north toward Owasso between 4:05 and 4:15, Stone Canyon Elementary School, Bailey Hospital, German Corner. Not long after that at 4:17, Limestone Fire Department and Limestone area at 4:19, and then up to Collinsville and Oolagaw not far behind that. Let's go even further to the south because we have this severe thunderstorm warning. Earlier, this storm had prompted the tornado warning. Did you get some?
I didn't bring any inside.
Okay.
They're melting so fast.
Yeah, the hail is melting, but it did fall here. That storm also moving to the northeast at a pretty good clip. Hail is the primary threat here toward Wichita, Pierce over the next few minutes, Council Hill, Boynton, and Wainwright. Again, want to stress, no organized rotation or tornado threat with these storms in our part of the state, and that is terrific news. But a lot of hail moving right over Midtown Tulsa. Behind these storms, we've got flash flood warnings, and we have a tornado watch that is in effect for all of eastern Oklahoma until 7 o'clock, for southeastern Kansas, our counties Montgomery and Chautauqua until 9 o'clock. But further to the south, I want you to see that we do still have more severe thunderstorms in the Red River Valley. Those will lift to the northeast too. Let's check in with meteorologist Mike Grogan as we continue to focus on the primary impact here, and that is hail in Tulsa.
Yeah, we've had a number of 1 to 2 inch diameter reports around Tulsa. That would be up to the size of golf balls. So that appears to be the upper end of the hail threat that we're seeing right now in the Tulsa area. Here at the station, nickel-size hail has been a common size, and we had the core pass right on over, but likely within that there are some larger hailstones, enough to cause some damage out there for sure. So as we go closer in and look at that hail threat, this warning is a little bit brighter because of the higher level threat of hail with it. Gusts to about 50, 55 miles per hour appears to be the upper end of the wind, but that is wind-driven hail there as well. Looking at the hail indicator right now, it's pretty steady state at the moment. In fact, we do have some of the hail right now. It's a little tough to see, but on camera, this is likely nearly up to the size of quarters. Of course, this has melted, so perhaps more in the nickel range right there. Thank you, Michaela, for bringing some of that in and stepping out in the elements. This storm is going to continue to lift rapidly to the northeast. So if you're in Owasso, Limestone, Claremore, Verdigris, Catoosa, this is next up for you. This will be quickly moving in. In addition to that, the torrential rainfall is a major concern because many folks are on the roads given the time of day. This will likely lead to flash flooding, though there is not a flash flood warning yet. It does not take long for some of those low-lying spots. Think 43rd and Sheridan, South Elwood, in portions of Jinx, where we get those low-lying spots quickly inundated as well. Now, right now, as we go a little closer in just to check out where we're seeing some of the heaviest of the rain and that hail potential, noticing it now up by the airport over to the north of East Central High School, Tiger, getting close to Costco there at the south end of Owasso. That is where we have one hail core, a bit of another hail core approaching downtown Tulsa. The rest of us, just a whole lot of heavy rain and lightning with some gusty winds. Now, as we broaden the view to the south, do want to point out there's just an incredible amount of lightning. That's the other main concern with this storm. You can see how many lightning strikes are peppered over the city, many cloud to ground strikes involved. So that is a danger to us if you're outside, and of course to power concerns as well. So far, I was checking, not many power outages yet. A couple hundred folks in the metro area without power, but that number may go up given the intensity of this. Now, we're watching the cells to the south. These have a little higher potential for perhaps a little bit of a spin up. The cell that did cause a tornado earlier now is lifting in McIntosh County. Not as strong as it was before, not showing organized rotation, but still severe. This will continue to lift northeast. We're just north of Eufaula towards Shakota and eventually Muscogee County. You'll be up next. So if it can gain some organization, this could be more of a threat downstream to our friends in Muscogee and surrounding areas. There is also heavy rain back to Henrietta. As we take a look at what we have overall, a tornado watch through 7 p.m., including all of our counties. And this is not the only round of storms ongoing for the rest of the day. We're expecting another round to come up pretty soon. As we take a look at radar predictor, this will take us to 5:30. You'll see some of the heaviest storms are likely with the hail possibilities now up through Rogers County to Veneta. We have more clusters of storms riding along I-40, perhaps now lifting towards Muscogee and Tahlequah by 5 to 5:30. Then we look to 6 to 7 o'clock. There's the potential. The dry line still to our west might fire up with more storms. If those can gain some organization, that will impact our western counties by 7 o'clock with continued storms more likely in southeast Oklahoma by this point. It looks like southeast Oklahoma might have a longer period of stormy weather for our evening hours. And then we'll continue to see that expanding eastward with time. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning showing up, and that is an expansion of that southern storm, with the warning now taking us clear through Muscogee, almost up to the doorstop of Tahlequah. Holbert includes most of Wagner County. This warning will take us until, I believe, 4:45 this afternoon. These storms are racing to the northeast between about 40 and up to 60 miles per hour, so they are quick to move. That's the good news. They're in and out of your hair, but that means you don't have a lot of time to prepare as these lift to the northeast. I'll do another storm track on this particular storm down to the south, probably the heaviest core of it near I-40. As it moves to the northeast, that will take it up towards Council Hill by 412. Oktahah by about 422. Muscogee itself, 434. That's when the heaviest of it will be passing into town, but it will start getting stormy well before that point. Over to Fort Gibson by 442 and Wagner by 447. So that should give you a sense of how quickly these storms are on the move. With a smattering of other storms on the way, we have yet another warning showing up for us here, and that would take us likely beyond the Tulsa area as we take a look at that as well. That's an extension of the warning now beyond Tulsa County, clear up to near Bartlesville, southern Nowata County, clipping Craig County, and much of Rogers County. That is because we have kind of two cells merging on the north side of Tulsa right now, so they've just kind of broadened that warning just a bit. That's what we have right now. We'll send it back over to Chief Meteorologist James Adelot.
Yeah, again, as we take a look outside, this is 169. The hail has moved on past 169 and 71st, but the heavy rain just continues to fall right now as we look at radar. Already getting a break, Jinx and South. I can kind of show you what that looks like too, because in Jinx we just have much lighter rain taking place. Let's take a look at our camera on the Creek Turnpike in Jinx. We still have some light rain falling, but look how quickly things have improved. Again, want to stress, no tornado warnings in our coverage area. I don't see any organized rotation with these storms right now. We do have a lot of hail with this continuing to lift to the north toward Bartlesville. Let me do a track on that storm, at least the core producing some hail. We also have other spots likely producing some hail. Moving up towards Skytook, we'll take care of that one right now as that lifts to the northeast at, again, 45 to 50 miles per hour. That's going to be moving toward Vera, Ramona, and Oglesby. We could see hail up to 1 inch with that. The biggest hail moving up into Owasso and Tiger and Catoosa right now continues to lift to the northeast at between 55 and 60 miles per hour. That's going to be up toward German Corner, Limestone on Highway 20, Keatonville and Keatonville Hill on Highway 20, the electric plant on the south side of Oologah by about 421, Oologah 422, Edgewater Acres on Oologah Lake at about 426, Talala 429, Spencer Creek Cove, and all the way toward Winganon with the capsule there on Highway 169 at about 435. Hail could be up to ping pong ball size, so bigger than quarters, probably closer to $50 for the biggest hail we have out of this. It's important to stress also, as we've said, there are no tornado warnings in our coverage area right now. We have another cluster of severe thunderstorms across parts of McIntosh and Muscogee County, and even more strong to severe thunderstorms taking place right now in south central Oklahoma. These have had stronger signs of rotation and more significant severe weather. These have a chance to bring that threat up into parts of Pittsburgh County in about an hour to hour and a half. So we've got some time there. Right now, the atmosphere is still a little bit more conducive to tornado threats, I-35, central Oklahoma, and west. While we continue to see our severe thunderstorms located in parts of Muscogee County and McIntosh County, wanted to give you a track on these. Same as the Tulsa storm here. Hail is the primary threat. These will be moving right up over Muscogee and Honor Heights Park and the VA area between about 425 and 430. Muscogee High School, 432. The Georgia Pacific plant, 436. Jackson Bay Rec area on the lake at 439. And toward Fort Gibson, the town, and then the lake after that. But that'll be at about 421 for Fort Gibson. And again, the main threat here is hail. We can give you an idea on that hail track. The hail not as big with this track. You can kind of follow it along here over the last hour. I want to show you also what has moved across Tulsa and give you a better idea of that stripe of the biggest hail from I-40 just to the east of Okemah, all the way across western Muscogee County, right over Beggs, right over Mounds, right over Glenpool, and through South Tulsa and East Tulsa, and now moving up toward Owasso now, and that's going to continue moving to the northeast. It looks like that hail size may have come down just a tiny bit, but this is still a significant severe thunderstorm. Gusty winds, but hail is the biggest impact. Now, there is a lot of lightning with this. That's caused some electrical issues too, from lightning strikes and power lines as we continue to see. We did have a couple of spots reporting tree limbs down and a couple of golf ball sized hail reports in the metro area in Tulsa, one at 31st and Yale, as this moved to the northeast. Let's check in with meteorologist Mike Grogan. Mike, do you have power outages ready to go?
Yeah, I was just looking. I have not received many updates. So right now it's only about 100, 150 people in the immediate Tulsa area that seems to be without power. I do expect that number perhaps to go up, just given how electric this storm is. Maximum wind gusts we've had so far are about 40 miles per hour that I've seen on our mesonet sites. However, there are some reports of some tree limbs down at 31st and Yale, just to give you a sense that within the city of Tulsa, there there are some issues with some wind damage, at least in a minor extent. Now, I just wanted to show the wide view here just to give you a sense of where storms are, where they're headed. We have this cluster of severe storms lifting on the north side of Tulsa, now into areas of far northeast Oklahoma very soon. We've got this next batch of storms that will bypass Tulsa to the south, but it's approaching Muscogee and Rapid Clip, and it extends all the way back towards Henrietta and Okemah. Then we have another cell that we're watching out of the Holdenville area that will cross back into the FOX23 viewing area there to follow. The dry line itself, the main boundary where storms may continue to fire up, is still along and just west of I-35. So we have one cell out there right now, south side of Oklahoma City. Then we have this other clustering of storms down by Ardmore. This will eventually be lifting into southeastern Oklahoma into a very primed environment where rotation will be possible for perhaps more tornado warnings down the road. So be aware of that. We're not out of the woods. More storms are likely to come in southeastern Oklahoma. Let's talk about that hail potential. It's quickly lifting to the north right now, Owasso to Limestone, but once again, this is a slightly delayed product, so that would put it up along Highway 20 right now and continuing northward from there. As we take a look at the wider view, I'm going to put a little storm track on here and adjust the map a bit north, just because I do think this is going to be quickly passing to the north with short order. We'll hop over here since yeah, this storm is going to be lifting at about 50-55 miles per hour to the northeast. As I take it from one of the main hail core areas, basically along Highway 20, this will take it up, as you'll see, near Collinsville by 418, Talala by 433, over to the Winganon area by 440, Nowata shortly thereafter at 446, and up to Delaware by 451. There's no indication the storm is going to weaken a whole lot further, so this will likely remain severe clear up to the Kansas line. So if you're anywhere between Bartlesville, Highway 75, all the way over to Bonita, this is your heads up right now that there's mainly a hail threat approaching your location. Not everyone in this zone will get the hail, but that is the nature of the storm. We get little pockets to form here and there, and that is where we end up with some of the issues embedded within these cells, and they're just quite electric here. Just wanted to show all the lightning again. This is another hazard for anyone that might be outside after school practices. If they're ongoing, let's say you're in Muscogee or Tahlequah, now is the time to be moving indoors because lightning is developing well in advance of the cells themselves, and you can see even around Tulsa just how much lightning has taken place just in the past half hour over the city. Now we look to the south. Here's the next incoming storm right now. It's severe warned, nothing that's producing any sort of threat of an immediate tornado. However, we're still in an environment where low-level rotation is apparent, and that is increasingly so as it gets with eastward extent from what we can see in some of our parameters at this time. We do have a tornado watch until 7 p.m., so more rounds of storms are likely for a number of spots. We'll continue to update you on the timing of that here in just a bit, but now we'll send it back over to Chief Meteorologist James Adelot.
Yeah, as we look outside at Tulsa International Airport, we just had a wind gust here of 64 miles per hour, and the sensor that measures that is just about right over here. We'll go back and take a look into that archive and see if we can see any kind of wind pushing things around there. We go back to radar now, and the biggest part of this hail core is closer to Highway 20. It is now lifted through Owasso, and it's approaching Collinsville and eventually toward Oologah and Talala. Again, hail is the primary threat from this storm. We are watching closely, but especially this storm does not look like it's going to be a super conducive for any kind of tornado production or any kind of worry about that at the moment. But this storm with hail moving up into Collinsville here in the next few minutes, we're going to at least keep this going through 4:30 as this clears the metro area, and then up toward Vera, the PSO plant by 4:26. Oologah 4:27, Edgewater Acres at 4:30, Talala, Winganon, Nowata after that at about 4:46. As we check the hail size algorithm here, you can see moving right up over Collinsville. That's about the biggest hail that we have. I'm going to take a look at just at least the computer estimation of just how big some of that hail may be. We'll take a look at that. This will give us the peak size in this box. It's kind of right on German Corner in Collinsville. Showing 1.9, it's been slightly, from what we can tell, overestimating the hail size a little bit, so this may be $half to golf ball size at the biggest as that lifts to the north-northeast. So the worst is over in Tulsa, but I want to kind of expand this view and show you the trail of that heaviest hail as it moved right up over the metro area. You can see started very close to Okemah, right through western Okmulgee County and through the heart of South Tulsa and Midtown Tulsa and East Tulsa, and now is rolling up into Collinsville and eventually will move into Rogers County. We've got a slew of severe thunderstorm warnings, but it's important to stress no tornado warnings in eastern Oklahoma. Our severe thunderstorm warnings from Tulsa to the northeast, and also now including Muscogee, which we will watch closely for any kind of development of any sustained rotation here, but this is lifting to the northeast. Again, right into the VA, Honor Heights Park, Muscogee area, close to 4:30. And if it holds together toward Wagoner, the UNARCO plant, and toward Sequoia State Park on Lake Fort Gibson by about 4:44. Let's see, other severe thunderstorm in parts of Hughes County right now as that lifts to the northeast. We'll take that one back up toward Carson, Dustin, Vernon, and Hannah. That eventually will move into western McIntosh and northwestern Pittsburgh County. But again, nice to see we don't have any red boxes showing up here that would indicate any kind of tornado development. Now, as we look into parts of the Tishomingo area, that'll be the next severe thunderstorm moving up and toward Pittsburgh and McIntosh and Okfuskee County, and also Ardmore and points toward the Red River. Another cluster of strong to severe thunderstorms moving toward the northeast. Now, let's take a look at the tornado watch that is in effect until 7 o'clock for our Oklahoma counties, until 9 o'clock for Chautauqua and Montgomery County in southern parts of Kansas. But you can see, thankfully, no tornado warnings anywhere in eastern Oklahoma. We're just dealing with that hail. Meteorologist Mike Grogan also watching this, and our cameras as we check in with Mike.
Yeah, one thing, if you are in a severe thunderstorm warning, it's similar to tornado warning, except you don't necessarily have to go into the smallest, most interior room. You just need to be inside a secure location. You want to also, if you're ahead of the storm, you're not hearing thunder right next to you, that is the time to maybe secure any loose outdoor objects. In addition to the hail, we have seen severe level winds out of these storms pushing out of Tulsa. But of course, you always want to be inside, away from windows and doors. And of course, we'll continue to bring you the latest here on TV and in the app. The worst of the storm is now beyond Tulsa itself. But if you're in Owasso and points northward, this is the time to be moving inside and waiting for the threat to pass. The overall view shows a number of severe thunderstorm warnings. Thankfully, no tornado warnings for our area at this time. We do have the leading edge of this next round pushing pretty quickly to the north into Washington and Rogers County. Our next batch of storms bypassing Tulsa to the south. This storm had a history of producing tornadoes, but has since lost a bit of its energy and therefore not quite sustained with rotation at this time. That's great news. Hopefully it will continue to maintain that or even lose more strength as it pushes into Muscogee at this time. The next batch of storms right there, basically from Hughes County and up into Okfuskee County. And we're going to be watching this batch of storms. This probably has some higher end severe weather potential once it reaches southeast Oklahoma in about an hour or two. Now, getting closer to the Tulsa area, by the way, we have just looked at the latest on power outages. They're now topping 1,600 in Tulsa. There's a pretty large power outage just south of Tulsa International Airport, being the largest area without power at the moment. But that number likely climbing a bit further because of all the lightning. Now, the latest hail threats, once again, ongoing now near and north of Highway 20. I'm just going to assume this is just a little further north than what our slightly dated product will show here, just because it takes a little longer time to sample the whole portion of the atmosphere from the radar. This will continue up Highway 169, so Oologah and Talala, over towards Vera and Ramona. You're up next to see the hail. This is not a tornado threat at this time, just so you're aware, but we are watching this storm coming pretty quickly into Muscogee. It's already there. Fort Gibson, you're next to see this at 4:31. The Holbert area by 4:42 and Lost City by 4:45 as this moves to the northeast at about 45, maybe 50 miles per hour. Overall, these storms are incredibly electric. You don't need a meteorologist to tell you that, given if you're in the Tulsa area or points northward or down southeast of Tulsa as well. But it is an inherent danger with these storms, and there are a lot of folks that have outdoor practices and other things ongoing right now. So this is a reason to stay inside. Even inside a closed vehicle is a much safer place to be than being exposed directly to the elements. Now, in the Tulsa area, the rain is getting much lighter at this time. In fact, we're about to see a break in the rain right now. So if you do need to head out the door, this might be a little window where you could do so without running the risk of some severe hail or strong winds, but be aware there is a lingering effect of the rainfall. It fell so quickly in Tulsa, drainage may have not kept up fully, and that means there might be low-lying spots that have water on them. And if you approach that, make sure you turn around, you don't drown, you don't end up putting yourself or your passengers in harm's way. Back to the south, there is this severe thunderstorm approaching western portions of McIntosh County and extreme southeastern Okfuskee County. This storm is severe, mainly for the threat of hail and some strong winds. And as we project this northeastward, we'll see that this is going to take it mostly in a line that will take it towards maybe just north of Eufaula. Looking here, this is going to take it likely up through Dustin by 424 along with Lena as well down the road. As we take a look at Tulsa International Airport, we just had the strong storm pass on by. We do have other spots that we're watching out for further development of storms. One of those spots would be western portions of the viewing area closer to a dry line. So far, that has yet to really fire up, but that is something we're going to see later today, and that's why the tornado watch expands clear back beyond Oklahoma City as more storms may fire up here and advance into the area. Here's the latest high-resolution look at radar predictor. What it shows is that by 6 o'clock, some of the storms we're dealing with right now are clear into Arkansas or far northeast Oklahoma. However, this is the latest data coming in, and it does show storms firing along that dry line. So by 6 o'clock, we might have storms entering Pawnee County, western Osage County, and more storms approaching our southern counties in southeast Oklahoma. By 7 o'clock, those storms here bear watching. We're in the prime window for possible rotation with these storms. The storms advancing into eastern Oklahoma, these show it weakening a bit, but the storms in southeast Oklahoma might end up becoming more the dominant ones into the later evening hours, posing a threat for all severe weather hazards. By 9 to 10 o'clock, that threat is lined up near the Arkansas line and pushing out of the FOX23 viewing area. As it appears right now, by 10:30, 11 o'clock tonight, there could be a round of storms there to follow, but right now that threat appears to be limited, but you do see a little batch of storms that does pop up there in the overnight hours, hopefully with limited impact by that window of time. So that's a look at kind of where we're headed over the next few hours. But once again, in the Tulsa area, about 1,600 customers without power. We've had a number of hail reports up to golf ball size in Tulsa, and that threat will continue to quickly expand northward from Tulsa at this time. But now we'll check in with Chief Meteorologist James Adelot. He's monitoring all the conditions going on around Tulsa. He's got the latest.
Yeah, we look out at travel conditions. They're all in pretty good shape. We will continue here for about another 3.5 minutes at 4:30. We will go back to programming and then have full FOX23 Severe Weather Team coverage at 5 o'clock. But things improving dramatically for now in Tulsa. We look down at 169. Again, things are moving along great. And that's going to be the case for most of Tulsa. You can see even just light rain has actually stopped in a couple of spots. But our hail core continues to lift now to the northeast of Collinsville. And as that moves to the northeast, it'll be moving across parts of Rogers County and eventually into Nowata County. We'll do a hail size estimation here. And again, it looks like this is broken up just a little bit here with a couple of smaller magnitude hail cores, but that's certainly an encouraging sign. As that moves to the northeast, though, that's going to spread that threat of hail into Oologah and Redbud Marina here by 4:30. Toward Talala, Watova, Winganon, Nowata, and Nowata Airport north of town at 4:45, Delaware, Ruthdale, and Lenapaw. As this holds together, probably about 30 minutes worth of track here, but it is moving at about 60 miles per hour. As we look further to the south and east, we still have this severe thunderstorm close to Muscogee that has had some signs of rotation just to the south of Muscogee right now. We come up to the current picture, and again, kind of an interface zone where we've got a little outflow coming in here, but I don't see any concentration of spin taking place right there. Wide view, though, still shows that severe thunderstorm warning posted in Muscogee up to Wagoner and into parts of Cherokee County. We can do a leading edge track of this. It looks like the most intense part's kind of moving right along the edge of this severe thunderstorm warning box up toward Fort Gibson at 4:32. There's Mallard Bay and Sequoia Bay wreck area on the lake. Hulbert by 4:45. Gideon and on toward Tahlequah as we get closer to 5 o'clock. Hail, again, still the primary threat. And as you saw, we didn't see a significant or tightened rotation with this at all. We look further to the south of Henrietta. We've got a strong to severe thunderstorm in Hughes County. As that continues moving to the northeast, that will move into parts of McIntosh County. Hail looks like the primary threat with it. And then we get into our big severe thunderstorm, and that's moving out of Tishomingo. And as that moves to the northeast into Cole County and Pontotoc County, it's still got some time, more than an hour, before it makes it into our coverage area. But those are the storms that we continue to watch for you. And on the wide view, we still have a tornado watch that is in effect for nearly all of the FOX23 coverage area until 7. There's 2 counties that it's in effect until 9. Those are in Kansas, in Chautauqua and Montgomery County, so Coffeyville and Sedan, even though there's no imminent threat there. So this is what we're looking at with the severe thunderstorm warnings and the tornado watch. But thankfully, at least in our coverage area, I'm not seeing any signs of sustained or concentrated rotation that are giving us much of a worry about tornado threats at all. We continue to look at traffic, and it's moving along a lot better with a rainfall rate much lighter in Tulsa. We have full Fox 23 severe weather team coverage coming up at 5 o'clock. Fox 23 News, we will see you then.